So I just got reminded. I don't know if you've seen that short or that TikTok of the guy asking people in New York, how much do you pay for rent in New York? Have you seen that TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, he's really famous.
Yeah, he's really famous, right? So I wanted to ask you this question if you're okay with sharing. Like
Mhm.
what is your rent like where you're living right now?
Right now, it's near 2000. I mean, it's near to 2600. So,
$2,600, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Today we have a very, very special guest on our channel. We have Sidharth, who's a batchmate of mine and a dear friend of mine from college. So, Sidharth, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. Yeah. As was told, I'm Siddharth from. We were friends in back in college, back in Amrita, and we had our computer science
Yeah.
education over there for our 4 years. So we are like really close. And right now I'm working in United States as an embedded software engineer. So yeah, that's all about me.
Yes. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to make a comparison between being a software engineer in India and being a software engineer or working abroad, because there's a lot of
Mhm.
people who want to go to America to become a software engineer, right? And there's a difference in lifestyle, there's a difference in packages, there's a difference in learning. There's a lot of differences, right? You've also been in India, you moved after college to America. So even you feel that there's a lot of differences, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. So first, let's start with what are the interview processes? How are the interview processes different in America? You've applied to a lot of companies in America, like you've told me. So how is it different than applying to a company in India?
So I don't know. So I think mostly in India, while you do all the interviews, you would have other fellow Indian who would be taking the interviews, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So one of the major thing would be communication back in here.
Yeah.
So it's totally fine even if your English is broken or if
Yeah.
you cannot convey the message in a in a straightforward way in their accent,
Mm-hmm.
because most of the time the people who interview us, they are from different countries. They're either from United States, German, maybe from India. So
Hmm.
I have interviewed with different people from different kinds of states, and some of them don't even know how to, some of them breaks their languages into, yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to apprehend some of the things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that would be one of the things. The second one would be, so even if it's the same company back in India and in United States, for example, let's take Amazon.
Hmm.
So back in India, when you do an interview, they might split the interview into different days,
Yes.
and you might have 5 or 6 rounds of interview or technical rounds for the Amazon.
Hmm.
But for me, when I did it here, it was, I mean, for my friends and for me, it was like you had just 4 interviews
Hmm.
for Amazon in here in the technical
Hmm.
aspect.
Hmm. Hmm.
And for all these 4 interviews, some of them got it on different days.
Hmm.
Some of them got all the 4 interviews on the same day. So it's like 4 hours straight up in the same day, one after the another.
Yeah.
So sometimes it could be hectic, sometimes it could be good. I mean, it depends on all the interviewer and all the things.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that will be one of those. And the third one, I think this one's related to the graduate,
Hmm.
but like the new graduate
Yes.
roles or the other ones. So I think back in India, you always have a coding round for all the new
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
graduate,
Yeah.
um, like the new graduate roles. But in here, if it's a big company like Amazon,
Hmm.
Microsoft, or any of those, then you would definitely have a coding round.
Hmm.
Just a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to throw the dog outside my room. So yeah, so for new graduate role, back in India, I think in most of the companies you would have to do the coding rounds, but in here, if it's a huge company, you definitely have to go for the coding rounds. If it's like a medium established company like a K and S, then sometimes they would ask you for coding. Sometimes they just don't. And if it's a startup company, most of them don't ask you for any coding rounds if you have any
Hmm.
internship backgrounds. So they would just have a normal interview, technical interview, in which the interviewer would ask you some questions
Hmm.
regarding to understand your knowledge in a
Hmm.
particular
Hmm. Hmm.
part. So that would be one of the other basic things. I mean, basic changes in the interview part.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the salary or the package different, right? So for example, if someone has a like salary package of around 80 to $100,000 in USA, And if you
Mhm.
compare that to India, that seems like a lot of money in India, right?
Yeah.
That's like a huge package in India if you compare it just by conversion. So what would you say
Mhm.
is a package like that in America while compared to India?
Um, So it depends on where you live.
Hmm.
So if you are living in New York City,
Yeah.
for a software engineer, you should definitely get more than 120,000. I mean, it would be somewhere near 120,000 or
Yeah.
115,000. Otherwise, it's really hard to meet the expenses. The living cost is like really high over there. Even for one bedroom apartment, it's going to be costing a fortune. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you have to get like a really good salary for that. But if you are living in a more remote state, or if you're living in a state where you don't have much expenses, then
Hmm.
the standard would be 70,000 or 65, 70, 80,000. That would be the range for software engineers. So it
Hmm.
depends on where you live. I mean, there's a lot of taxes and all these things. It varies really high between different states. So it depends on which state you are working on, or the company, where which state the company is established and where you're going to work on. So it depends on that.
Hmm.
But if you're getting a remote job and you get to
Yeah.
work from India,
That's
and
perfect.
if it's 100,000, then you're
Yeah,
living
yeah,
the
yeah.
dream.
That's like
Yeah,
perfect, isn't it? Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So like a lot of people also want to go to America, right? Like a lot of people
Mhm.
don't want to stay in India. They want to move to America. They feel like America has a better lifestyle to offer to the people living there. So what would you say about that? Is it overhyped? Is it, or is it worth it, like going to America?
It depends on your idea of living. So, if you want to have a easy lifestyle with a
Hmm.
more hygiene and a, an opportunity to talk with people who are
Yes.
from different parts
Yeah.
of the world, then America would be the best option.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But if you want to live like a king with
Hmm.
spending lots of money, I mean,
Hmm.
with a lesser living cost,
Yeah.
then I think India would be the best choice for that. So it depends on what kind of lifestyle you want.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
ever since you moved to America, like being an Indian, did you have any specific problems because of that? That you're an outsider, right? You're not really an American. So
Yeah.
you're coming from outside from a different company. So did you have any problems on the basis of that?
So until now, I have not faced much problem, but I have heard my cousin face some problem regarding the racial issues. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really rare. I mean, it's not too much
Hmm.
in United States as you see in movies, but if you go to some other places where
Yeah.
you have much more racial issues, like a place which is inhabited mainly by a race
Hmm.
or a particular community, and if you go in there, there could be small racial issues, but it's not that common. I mean, in my place, it's not at all common. I mean, everyone likes everyone else, and
Mm-hmm.
I think the people in USA, they also try to be much more friendly than other people from other parts of the world. So yeah, I think
That's
that
very
answers that.
different than what is depicted in the movies, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the movies, it's always high racism, but
Yeah.
uh, I mean, maybe it's true in some states, but in most of the parts where I have lived in,
Mm-hmm.
there has been no issues with any of the
Mm-hmm.
race issue. I mean, there's no issues with any race thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I just got reminded. I don't know if you've seen that short or that TikTok of the guy asking people in New York, "How much do you pay for rent in New York?" Have you seen that TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, he's really famous.
Yeah, he's really famous, right? So I wanted to ask you this question, if you're okay with sharing. Like,
Mhm.
what is your rent, like where you're living right now?
Right now, it's near 2000. I mean, it's near to 2600. So it's actually not too cheap or not too costly, but yeah, it is kind of expensive.
Twenty six
So
hundred dollars, right?
yeah, I mean, it depends on
Damn.
where you live.
Yeah.
That's a part of the living cost. So since I'm living in Massachusetts near Boston, Boston's
Mm-hmm.
like the major city, so
Mm-hmm.
the prices would go really high, and in some places it's 2,800. Sometimes it's even 3,000. So
Damn.
it's really hard to get a nice apartment over here. And if it's in New York City, it's going to double.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be really hard. So it depends on the state. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the final thing that I want to ask you is, in summary, according to you, is it worth going to America, being a software developer there, living the American dream, while comparing it to having a high paying job in India? Like, is it worth according to you?
I think it has both pros and cons in both countries. So,
Yes.
if you come to United States, right now they are having some economical issues. You know, some
Mm-hmm.
economic issues. So, there are like huge layoffs from
Mm-hmm.
different huge companies in United States. But if you're going for a startup as a software
Mm-hmm.
engineer, there's a high possibility for you to get into that job. And being a citizen of India and coming to United States to work, you might definitely need a H-1B visa, or
Mm.
you would definitely
Yeah.
need a sponsorship. So in that case, I would say it might be worth if you wait for a bit of time, and then come back after the economic issues, because when it comes to startups, they're trying to reduce the cost of their,
Mm.
the overall cost and the main all those things. So it would be easier for them to hire a person who is from the United States, or hire a person who does not
Yeah.
need any sponsorship
Mm-hmm.
compared to the other person. But I mean, they're also open for looking into other people who are from India or any other country if they are really good at their skills. But they might prefer the people who are currently in the United States over the other people. But when it comes to the bigger companies, it doesn't matter. They can just
Mm.
sponsor anyone, and even if it's a medium company, it doesn't matter. They would definitely sponsor anyone who with a really good skill to come to United States and work for them. So considering the time, it might be a bit hard for you to find job in United States.
Mm. Right now.
Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, I think United States is really good for a work environment, because you have lots of human rights, and sometimes it's overwhelming, overwhelming, their
Yeah.
rights. Yeah, but
Yes.
yeah, but you have lots of rights and lots of good things with the work environment. There are people from different countries, different cultures, so everyone respects each other's culture. They would understand how the whole thing goes on. uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's really a good healthy environment to work in United States. And also, when it comes to the holidays, in India we have lots of holidays,
Yeah.
but in United States we don't have that much.
Mm.
But if you get a holiday in one of the um, weekends, for example, Christmas is on Sunday, right?
Mm.
So I have actually two holidays in my contract, which gives me a holiday the day before the Christmas and
Mm.
on the day of Christmas. So since both of them are in the on Saturdays and Sunday, I get to choose Friday and Monday as days of my holiday. So
Yeah.
even if the major events happens on a holiday, I could just choose 2 days to take leave. Like a paid time leave, even if it's a if it
Mm-hmm.
even if it's on a weekend. So I don't know if it's also there in India, but that is something that you would get in United States. So and also for engineers, every Saturday is a holiday, and
Mm.
Sunday is also a holiday. So you get 2 days every week. So that's like mandatory even for startups or any other country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any other company. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something that you would get back in United States. And if you think about India, I would say it's a developing country, and
Mm.
I think it's going much more into AI part.
Yeah.
So since it's a developing country, they would have different products that's going to come up, and the job opportunities are also going to come up. Maybe it's a bit slow, but it's definitely going to come up since it's a developing country. So you would definitely have opportunities in India, but if you're looking to leave with lower living costs, then
Mm.
India is good. But if you want much quality of life, much better access to, but much better
Yeah.
access to quality items, then I
America
would
would be
say it's
better.
better to come to United States. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, and also if you're looking for job opportunities in United States, I think in software engineering, machine learning, data analyst,
Mm.
some all these things related to AI, they are just getting a really big
Mm.
boom in the market. So those people from AI background, they are definitely slaying it with the hiring
Mm.
process. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess that pretty much covers everything about the doubts that one might get if they're going to move to America, or the doubt that one might get about being in America. So thank you, Siddharth, for coming on my channel and sharing everything with me and my subscribers. I hope it will help a lot of people gain more knowledge about the world. So thank you.
And thank you for giving me an opportunity to, talk with other people, maybe help them if I could. I mean, if you need any more help, you could also contact me again. I know it's not a good line, but yeah. And happy Christmas and happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy
you know,
Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year.
yeah.
Thank you.